It's 9:47 a.m. You're 13 minutes early. You're sitting in a beige waiting room on the 14th floor of the Meridian Tower, wearing your best green jacket and the blue tie your mother ironed for you this morning. Your resume is in a folder on your lap. You've rehearsed your answers to 27 possible interview questions. You've printed 3 copies of your references. You are completely, aggressively prepared for this job. The receptionist hasn't looked up from her monitor since you sat down. 2 other candidates are waiting with you. One is in a grey suit, scrolling his phone with the vacant expression of someone who has been to too many of these. The other is in an identical green jacket to yours, which you both notice at the same time, and which you both immediately pretend not to notice. The office is exactly what an office is supposed to look like. Potted plants, computer monitors, a motivational poster on the wall that says teamwork with a photo of people rowing a boat, as if anyone has ever been motivated by a photo of people rowing a boat. The fluorescent lights hum at the exact frequency of mild despair. Your name is called. You stand. You straighten your tie. You walk toward the glass-walled conference room with the measured confidence of a person who has been unemployed for 4 months and absolutely cannot show it. The interviewer's name is Karen. She has a firm handshake and reads your resume with an expression that gives nothing away. She asks where you see yourself in 5 years. You give the answer you rehearsed. She asks about your greatest weakness. You give the answer about being too detail-oriented, which is the answer everyone gives and which everyone knows is not a real answer. You are halfway through explaining why you left your last position when the alarm goes off. Segment 2, the alarm. Not a fire alarm, something different, lower, more insistent. The kind of alarm that doesn't say, please exit in an orderly fashion. The kind that says something has gone wrong in a way that the building designers planned for but hoped would never actually happen. Karen stops mid-sentence. She looks at the ceiling where the alarm sound is coming from. She looks at her phone. Her expression, which has been professionally neutral for the entire interview, does something it was clearly not hired to do. It goes afraid. The announcement comes through the intercom. The voice is calm in the way that voice training makes a person calm, which is to say it is calm on the surface and underneath it is not calm at all. All personnel please remain in the building. The building is under Level 3 Health Containment Protocol. All exits are sealed until further notice. This is not a drill. Please remain calm and await further instructions. The other 2 candidates are in the doorway now. Grey suit is holding his phone up trying to get a signal. Green jacket twin is standing very still in the way that some people go still when they are deciding whether to panic. You look at Karen. Karen looks at you. Outside the glass wall of the conference room, the office has gone from mildly despairing fluorescent hum to something much louder and less structured. Someone is screaming on a lower floor. Segment 3. The woman with red hair. You find her in the stairwell. She's coming up from the 13th floor, moving fast, red hair, red dress, a letter opener held in one hand like she has decided it is a weapon and is committed to that decision. Her face has the expression of someone who has already processed the situation and moved directly to solving it, skipping the stages of denial and bargaining entirely. She looks at you. She looks at your green jacket and blue tie. She says, you look like you know how to follow instructions. You say you were here for a job interview. She says, congratulations, you're hired. Now help me barricade this door. Her name is Maya. She works on the 13th floor in client relations. She was in the bathroom when whatever happened on 13 happened, which is why she is alive and moving, while the sounds coming from below the door you are now pushing a filing cabinet against are the sounds of something that was recently a person, but is not currently behaving like one. She tells you what she saw before she ran. She is precise about it. She does not embellish. The facts are bad enough without embellishment. A colleague. The coffee machine. Green liquid. Then the colleague stopped being a colleague. You ask what the green liquid was. She says she doesn't know and doesn't need to know. She needs to know where the exits are, where the roof access is, and whether you have anything more useful than a tie. You do not have anything more useful than a tie. Segment 4. The others. There are 7 of you on the 14th floor by the time you've done a head count. Karen from HR, who has transitioned from interviewer to de facto leader with a speed that suggests she was always more capable than a job interview would ever reveal. Grey suit, whose name is David, who turns out to be a former construction site manager and who immediately begins assessing the structural integrity of the barricades. Green jacket twin, whose name is also David, which nobody has time to find funny. 2 junior accountants who have been under their desks since the alarm and are reluctant to come out. A building maintenance worker named Frank, who has a utility belt, a crowbar, and the calm of a man who has fixed so many broken things that one more broken thing is just Tuesday. Frank is the most useful person in the room. Frank has the keys to the roof access. Frank also has a ham radio in his utility closet, which he retrieves with the matter-of-fact efficiency of someone who prepared for exactly this without telling anyone. You gather around the radio. Frank tunes it slowly, moving through static and fragments and dead channels. Then, somewhere around the middle of the dial, through the hiss and the crackle, a voice. Steady, repeating the same message in a loop. Safe zone established at Eastfield Stadium. Survivors proceed to Eastfield Stadium. Repeat. Safe zone at Eastfield Stadium. Maya looks at you. The stadium is 6 blocks away. Segment 5. The plan. The plan, such as it is, goes like this. Roof access to the adjacent parking structure. The parking structure is connected to the Meridian Tower by a sky bridge on level 3 of the structure, which means you can get across without going to street level. From the parking structure roof, you can see Eastfield and plan the ground approach. Frank knows the parking structure because he maintains the sky bridge. Karen knows the building because she has worked here for 11 years. David, the construction manager, knows load-bearing walls. David, the green jacket, knows nothing useful but is willing. Maya knows how to move fast and make decisions. You are beginning to understand that Maya is the actual plan and everyone else is supporting cast. You ask her how she's so calm. She says she grew up with 3 brothers. She says chaos is just a meeting that hasn't been organized yet. You take the crowbar from Frank. He has the radio. Karen has the first aid kit from the kitchen. Maya has upgraded from the letter opener to a fire extinguisher, which she holds like she intends to use it on the first thing that gets in her way. You open the stairwell door to the roof. Segment 6. The sky bridge. The parking structure is quiet in the way that places go quiet after something has moved through them. You cross the sky bridge in single file, Frank leading, crowbar in front, the grey sky above the city looking like it doesn't know yet that everything below it has changed. Through the sky bridge railing you can see street level. You look once and then decide not to look again. The parking structure roof gives you the view you needed and didn't want. 6 blocks to the stadium. 3 of those blocks are clear, the other 3 are not. There is a beige pickup truck in the parking structure, level 2. It has a cracked rear window and a dent in the passenger door, and a full tank of fuel, which Frank confirms with the calm of a man checking a dipstick, rather than the last functioning vehicle in a 3-block radius. Maya gets in the driver's seat without discussion. You get in the passenger side. Frank, Karen, both Davids, and the 2 accountants distribute across the cab and the truck bed. The 2 accountants are still not entirely sure what is happening, but they have progressed from under a desk to a truck, which represents growth. Maya starts the engine. She looks at the ramp down to street level. She looks at you. You say, 3 blocks. She says, I've driven worse. She has not, in fact, driven worse, but she drives this. Segment 7. 3 blocks. The first block is fine. The second block is not fine. There are 7 of them in the intersection, moving wrong, heads at angles that heads are not supposed to be at. The green liquid visible even from inside the cab, dripping from their faces onto the asphalt where it leaves marks. Maya doesn't slow down. She picks the gap and goes through it. Something hits the side of the truck. You do not look at what it was. The third block has a bus across the road. Not crashed, placed. Someone moved it deliberately across the 2 lanes to block the way through, which means someone was thinking. Which means either there are people behind that bus who are organized and rational, or there are people behind that bus who are organized and not. Maya stops the truck. She looks at the bus. She looks at the gap between the bus and the curb. The gap is approximately 2 feet narrower than the truck. Frank says, "The door will take the hit. The truck will still move." Maya says, "Okay." She takes the gap. The passenger door, your door, screams against the concrete corner of the bus with a sound you will hear in your memory for a long time after this. The window cracks. The truck keeps moving. The stadium gate is ahead. It's open. There are people inside, real people, moving with purpose rather than wrong-angled shuffling. There is a man at the gate with a baseball bat, a proper nail-studded post-apocalyptic baseball bat, the kind that says, "This person has been in this situation long enough to have upgraded their equipment." He waves you through. You go through. Segment 8. Inside the gate. The stadium is organized in the way that humans organize things when the alternative is not organizing them. Tents in the stands, a medical station at the concession area, a communications hub near the scoreboard where someone has set up exactly the kind of radio that Frank has in his belt. Fires in the designated fire areas. Rules posted on every pillar. The man with the baseball bat is named Rex. He has been here since day one of whatever this is. He knows how it started, approximately, though the full story has gaps. He knows what the green liquid does, which he explains without fanfare, the way someone explains something they have explained too many times to still feel the weight of it. He shows you where to sleep. He shows you where the food is. He shows you the map of the surrounding area, with the safe corridors marked and the unsafe corridors marked differently. Karen is already talking to the communications team. Frank is already looking at the generator. Both Davids are already useful in different ways. The two accountants have found other accountants, which is what accountants do. Maya sits down on a stadium seat for the first time since the stairwell. She puts the fire extinguisher on the ground beside her. She looks at the field and the tents and the organized survival of approximately 400 people who were in the wrong place at the right time. She says, 6 blocks. You say, 6 blocks. She says, not bad for a job interview. You look around at the stadium, at the makeshift walls and the radio tower, and the people who decided that this was where they were going to hold the line. You think about the beige waiting room and the blue tie, and the 27 interview questions you prepared. You did not get the job you came for. You got a different one. Rex appears beside you. He hands you a crowbar, a better one than Frank's, heavier, with tape wrapped around the grip. He says, "We do rotations on the perimeter. 2 hours on, 2 hours off. You start at dawn." You look at the crowbar. You look at Maya. She is already looking at the map. You say yes. You haven't rehearsed this answer. You didn't need to.